So, the NFL season is finally here. Just watch the Cowboys and Giants. Don't you feel like a huge sigh of relief when the season's on and it's just, it just started and, let's get it going, put you in such a great mood. Well, Double Diamonds are going to be in a bad mood after I'm done giving him his grade this time. Going in, he had good keepers. Nothing wrong with keeping two quarterbacks in a two-quarterback league. Like, he kept Aaron Rodgers, he kept Michael Vick, and then on top of it all off, he had a great running back in Maurice Jones-Drew that he kept. Oh, did I say that he kept Maurice Jones-Drew? Well, the dumb Bobo traded him in the second round of the draft, okay? That brings me to his second-round pick, which I hate. You have a solid stud fantasy running back. Solid stud. And you trade him for a second-round pick, ideally a fifth-round pick when you include the three keepers. And who do you take? You take Doug Martin? Doug Martin's not a bad pick, but you don't trade Maurice Jones-Drew for him. Period. Hands down. I don't care what contract dispute he might have. It's just not going to be worth it. Everybody holds out of the training camp. They hold out of training camp because they don't want to go to training camp. Training camp means running and exercising and all that jazz that's going to come for the next 4 months. And then, in the second round, he goes and he drafts Beanie Wells. Okay? Far too early. Beanie Wells has been as consistent as a Rubik's Cube. Okay? 2 picks in the second round. And he doesn't take Gronk. But I guess he made up for it when the third round came around. And, I'm going to take Fred Davis. Far too early for Fred Davis. Far too early. He decided that he'd make up for it in the fifth round by drafting Javid Best. Torrey Smith in the fifth round, he made up for it a little bit. That's kind of a half-ass steal. But he needed to do something to make up the previous debacle of his first few rounds. Oh, wait a second. He totally made up for himself in the seventh round. He drafted Jared Allen. Oh, really? I get what he's doing. He's setting it up for the eighth round. David Akers kicker pick. Far too early for both of those. And I mean far, far too early. Lance Moore in the 10th round. I don't like Lance Moore. He's not Colston. He's not Meacham. He's just that speedy receiver in New Orleans that you're going to plug and play all year, hoping he's going to get you that 110-yard game and 2 touchdowns that he has twice a year, but you're just going to destroy your roster that way. The fact that you even drafted Cliff Averill, I just hate it. So he made up for it a little bit in the 15th round with the Owen Daniel steal. You know what? He tends to fly under the radar every year. He's a good, solid steal pickup. Christian Ponder, round 17. You know what? That's a steal. Okay, hey. You're looking at me going, well, he doesn't bring much to the table. But guess what? 17th round with 3 keepers is a 20th round pick on Ponder, who will start. Okay, besides, he's a backup to Rodgers and Vick. Okay? Quarterbacks, Rodgers, Vick, love those two guys. Like, you're going to go in having a great season with those two. I know I don't like going in and playing somebody who's got Aaron Rodgers and Vick starting in a 2-quarterback league, okay? That's just rough. Downside to that is Michael Vick has only once in his career played 16 full games. Ponder's a good plug and play on bye weeks. Hopefully Vick can stay healthy 16 weeks. He's already been banged up in the preseason. Don't like it, but if he can, you know what? This guy here nailed a solid A+ on his quarterbacks. Running backs. Doug Martin starting, too many question marks. He looks strong. I think the nickname Beanie means question mark, if I'm not mistaken. So, just not enough answers for me to feel confident in him at all. So if it couldn't get any worse, to go downhill from there with Beanie Wells and trading Doug Martin for Maurice Jones-Drew, which I absolutely hate. Javid Best? Really? I know you just bought the book like 5 seconds before the draft, but how old was it? And to top it all off, you didn't take it back until round 18, which you had the glorious pick of one Mike Tolbert. You had gold, my friend. You turned it into fool's gold, okay? Can't respect that at all. Running back, best grade I can give you is a D. Wide receiver. Jordy Nelson in the first round, you know what, I'll pass on that. Yeah, that's not bad. You had better options on the board like an A.J. Green or a Brandon Marshall. Torrey Smith later on, you know what, that's not too bad. But Torrey Smith and Jordy Nelson as your starters, not too intimidating. Okay, so who can your possible flex wide receivers be? Justin Blackmon and Lance Moore. The only reason why you're not getting a flat out F on this one is because of the upside on Jordy Nelson. I think he is what's saving your wide receivers right now. Wide receivers, absolute best I can give you, C-. Tight ends, at least you took some of my advice. You did draft 2 tight ends, and you know, in all fairness, they are 2 decent tight ends, but nobody in the upper echelon. Fred Davis you took way too early, especially when Gates and Hernandez were still on the board. Owen Daniels, I did like that pick, round 15. You know what? Those 2 guys, they're going to give you some decent points. Nothing spectacular. Tight ends, B-. I don't know where people in this league get off by drafting 8 defenders when you only start 6. 8 you took. And amongst those 2, you got 2 huge steals in Cliff Averill and Calais Campbell. David Akers in the 8th round. Look, I know the guy was gold last year, but 8th round. 8th round. 8th round. In saying all that, you took 2 injury-riddled running backs in Beanie Wells and Javid Best. Javid Best isn't even going to play or start. Who knows if he's even going to play this season. Mediocre wide receivers, even worse running backs, decent tight end. What saved your team completely was your quarterbacks. Rodgers and Vick, 2 great starters. That saved your butt in my final grade. You get a C.